Welcome back everybody. What is occurring? We have Islamic goat abusers all over the place causing all kinds of trouble, and the response from Christianity has kind of been insipid at best. It hasn't been good enough. We need to get organised. We need to start turning this ship around so that we can win the spiritual battle and we can win the war for Christianity. So let's have a look how we're going to do that right now. Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachus. First of all, apologies for this ugly sunburnt patch on my forehead. That's what I get for staying out in the sun. But let's move on to more important matters. I said in a video yesterday, we're losing the spiritual battle. Christianity is losing the spiritual battle currently being waged against us by the Islamic Jihad, the forces of Satan, better known in some parts of the world as Allah. Sounds like a furball got stuck in a cat's throat. Anyway, that guy is beating us readily with the technology and the tactics of the Dawah, and we need to put a stop to that. So someone said to me, Daily Corvid, you're too harsh. You're always complaining. You are a hypocrite. You never offer solutions. So that's what I'm going to do today. So the first solution, which I hope you already do, but if you don't, I hope you will do after watching this video, is to watch the following Christian channels which I'm about to show you, which I have appraised as some of the best YouTube channels for Christian content that you are ever going to find. So without further ado, let's crack on to rating and dating the best and the fairest Christian YouTube channels available. Take it away. We're going to use a simple rating system, 3 points for Christian preaching, 2 points for counter jihad, 1 point for reaction content. And we start with God Logic Apologetics. Now this is one of my favourite channels, so I was pleased to say he scored the best out of all the channels I rated, all 7 channels. And the reason was because almost every single video contained direct preaching of verses plus an interesting breakdown, with some other stuff sprinkled in, memes and whatnot as well. So good performance from God Logic, and he came top. Second, we have Apologetics Roadshow, which is David Wood, the Dizzle. So I'm sure you already watch him, but if you don't, highly recommend it. He suffered slightly in terms of scoring for having more reaction content and less actual preaching, but nonetheless a solid Christian, a solid channel for apologetics, one that I would highly recommend that everybody follow along and watch. So he comes second out of 7. Third is myself, Daily Corvid. Now, I did very well in the scoring, not because I planned it like that. I'm not an evil Zionist that's just cheating, by the way, Muslims. It's because every single video was a direct counter-preaching or a direct Christian preaching video. I have 2 response videos, but both of them involve long, lengthy explanations with verses included. So I did pretty well and came equal second or third. Just a few points behind me is His Humble Servant, one of my favourite channels and a great personal friend of mine. He has primarily been doing reaction content, and that's what we can see here in his videos. But I have to say, if I was scoring this a little bit differently, I could have involved his Joshua videos, which are direct preaching with verses, so he would have done a lot better there. But still, a highly recommended channel that you should watch. Then next we have Sam Shamoon, who I have some rather rare views about the way that he speaks to people. I don't think we would get along well if we met, but nonetheless, this is not a popularity contest, this is a Christianity protest. So in terms of protesting Christianity, Sam doesn't do well, but in terms of preaching, furthering the word, he does do well, and that is why he came 4th. JP Uncut is 5th in the list, and he did very well because most of his videos, even though it is primarily reaction content, so not direct preaching, recently he has been refreshed in the word, has been doing great debates, and along with Humble Servant, Alton, and guys like LBAI, a new guy on the scene, really have been pushing that gospel message, and I would highly recommend everyone go and check those guys out, especially JP. And finally we have a personal favourite of mine, although he didn't score particularly well, Saint AVS, who, even though he was the lowest scoring of the 7 that I checked, compared to most Christian channels, this guy is absolutely solid. I don't always agree with his interpretation of Bible verses, but he is definitely a faithful, trustworthy preacher that I would highly recommend you all check out. So in combination, Christians scored 125 out of a possible 210. So let's compare those to the Dawah guys. Now the Dawah preaching is going to get 3 points, anti-Western Dawah gets 2 points, and responses with Islamic verses 1. And we start with Quran plus Islam, who did very well. The first thing you'll notice, they scored a full 30 points out of 30 for their individual channel. And that is because every single video that they do is direct Islamic preaching with a big breakdown. Even though a lot of it is not honest, I'm not going to score their honesty, just their success as a channel. So these are the guys we need to watch out for, Quran and Islam. Followed closely by The Meaning of Islam, which is again another pure preaching channel. There's nothing in here about Christians or Jews, no reaction content, nothing about celebrities, pop music or popular culture. It is 100% pure Quran preaching with big breakdowns and lots of lengthy explanations. So this is another channel who scored a full 30 points. Third, we have the MuslimLantern, who is a kind of semi-god. He's like a celebrity on the Muslim circle. So he did very well, 25 out of 30, but the fact is, lots of his content is completely irrelevant to the Quran and to Islam, and he makes his dollars preaching against Christianity. So this is one that we need to be working against. These guys are spreading lies against God, and we need to keep these guys in mind and compete. And the same with OneIslam Productions. This is another channel, as you can see, which is totally focused on Dawah, anti-Western preaching, telling people to hate Christians, telling people to hate Jews, telling people that America, Israel and Britain are the most evil countries with the most evil people, and they see huge success with a large turnaround and number of viewers, and we need to be countering this. The Thinking Muslim comes next, who did suffer slightly because it's kind of a bit of a confused channel and they don't do as regular production of content as you might think, but still they have great success convincing Muslims to hate Israel, Christians and Westerners in general more, specifically Israel, America and Britain, and we need to watch out for the guys that they send to us. Talk Islam is next, second down on the list from the end, and the reason that they suffered is because most of their content is actually contrary to Quranic Islam. As we can see here, they are talking about music, supermodels, McDonald's, fake preachers, Moses, all things that you might think is Islamic, but if you study the Quran you know these guys are absolute infidels. Nonetheless, they do well with their own audience and we need to watch out for them. And that brings me to number 7, which is Let the Quran Speak. Yes, it's that guy, that kind of pervy, pedo looking guy with the weird stuck on beard. He suffered the most because his channel is meant to be just Quran preaching, but he ends off trailing off onto politics and slagging off Israel and America, and that's primarily his wheelhouse. Nonetheless, he does very well, and in terms of scoring against us, unfortunately Islam beat us with 180 of a possible 210 points. So as you can see, through hook or through crook, by whatever method they are using, these Muslim channels have got higher amounts of people visiting them, they have higher amounts of shares and likes, and the reason is because when they go to mosque, Muslims are told, you will watch this video, you will like this video, and you will share it to all your friends, and they do. That comes with the territory of being a slave of Allah. A slave of a person who doesn't exist means the person who gives you Allah is the person who is your master, and that's the Imam. So even though these channels survive primarily on a breakfast of lies and deceit, none of the things they say are honest, not even to their own doctrines, the Quran and the Reliance, which is why many Muslims live in ignorance while they are propagating this evil. The simple fact is, because Christians are hemmed in by their honesty, most of the time the channels that I've listed here are completely honest. The odd mistake that is made is an honest mistake and is going to later be corrected. But nonetheless, Christians need to make a harder effort, a more concerted, organised effort to support these channels by watching their content, making sure they always drop a like, making sure they share them with whoever is going to be interested in that content, putting it out on their social media, and making sure everybody knows, A, Christianity is the way that you're going to improve your life, safeguard yourself from the evils of Islam, and generally improve matters for you and your family, and feel better, have a more hopeful, joyous life to live in. And if you need to know about the Quran, the dangers of Islam, the lies contained within their holy book, the deceit of their Lord, If you want to know about these things, you can check the Quran channels as well, but they are full of lies. So actually, the Christian channels should be focusing on this as well. And guys like GodLogic does a lot of work. His Humble Servant is another great one. But primarily, this is something which really is neglected, and I feel we need to make a better effort on. And I hope in future we do see that. And then you have my own channel. David Wood is another one who does great work researching and showing you the actual scriptures and the behaviour of Muslims. And when we get our heads together, guys, as a Christian brotherhood, as a one united faith, whether it be from a different denomination or not, we need to shelve those arguments while we're in this war. Make no mistake, that's what this is, a spiritual battle and a war that we must win. When we get to grips with supporting each other and the content creators who give us all this free content, they plough their own time and energy into giving us great content to improve our education and our mental state to go into this war with high hopes of a victory. When we watch and learn from those channels, we will become more discerning, better educated, and more focused in our response so that we can defeat this jihad. And we can sing the praises of our Lord, who is Jesus Christ, right up until the last hour, at which point we will be saved to heaven through the Lord's grace. So, that's all for now. Highly recommend you watch all those channels, check out all their content, make sure you like and subscribe, not just because you like it, but because you are united in Christianity and morality against the evils of Islam, and you want to play your part in defeating the jihad and bringing morality, love and peace back into the frame. That will benefit you and everyone. So that's all for now. God bless you all, have a lovely day, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one. Bye now. Lovely, really enjoyed that, so hope you did too. For the rest of you who want to really pack a punch and put the best foot forward for defeating the jihad, watch Without Lies, Islam Dies and the rest of the videos on my channel. Hit me up in the comments if you wish to join my anti-jihad squad. Have a lovely day, God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!